Hi, so this week I've been reading this book, How Toddlers Thrive by Tova P. Klein, and I highly recommend it if you have an actual toddler. So good. And there's so many subtle little changes I am making in my parenting just to give Vivi the best chance of being an amazing, self actualized, well adjusted person. But it also made me think about toddlerhood as adulthood. And by that, I mean that we all have toddlers inside of us. We've just kind of learned to mask that over or we've learned to deal with them healthily. We've learned to love them and we've maybe even fully integrated that. But for me, I know there's still that toddler inside of me that will get really angry and want to throw things and kick things or that just gets really sad or, all of the feelings that toddlers have that are those huge feelings that they don't have the brain wiring yet to really cope with them in the ways that sometimes as parents we would love for them to have. They just don't have it yet. And some adults don't have it, but most of us have learned how to deal with those feelings, those big feelings that come up. But I think a lot of people have learned to deal with them in ways that are not healthy, in ways that continue to disembody them even more from themselves, continue to disconnect themselves from who they really are. And I think that this is one of those areas where you can really make a conscious choice to actually incorporate what's coming up, to incorporate those big toddler feelings that come up, those it's not fair, wanting to lash out, all of those things. And if we're actually able to incorporate them in a healthy way, instead of doing things like ignoring our feelings, shoving them down, using addictions to distract ourselves from them, whatever it is that we're using to basically shut that down in ourselves rather than incorporate is going to be a thing that really disconnects us from ourselves. So if we can do it in a way that doesn't disconnect us, and I really think there's one way to do that, and that way is to, even if you don't have time, a lot of times toddler wants and needs do not coincide with parental adult wants and needs, right? And there are times in my parenting with Vivi where I am really tired. And of course, it's my responsibility to resource myself, give myself the self-care and whatever I need to be healthy and have the patience and be my best self with her. That's also my responsibility. But there are always going to be times when we're not able to have done that. We're just tired. Sleep schedules are off, someone's sick, whatever. There's always going to be those times when we are not at our resource best. And when the needs of the toddler don't coincide with the needs of the adult, and that happens internally for us, that the needs of that internal toddler inside of us don't coincide with what's happening on the outside and what we need to do as an adult at that moment. So whether it's an actual toddler or it's your internal toddler, the way to really connect back in with yourself in those moments when you have those big feelings come up is to be with them, right? So even if I don't have time to step away from Vivi, sometimes that's not possible to even step away for a few minutes. But what I can do is just bring part of my attention to where I am feeling those feelings and just really being with that. And what does that feeling feel like? What color is it? What shape does it have? These are all kind of therapeutic techniques, right, that you may have done in therapy that you can ultimately, you want to be doing them with yourself. So when those big toddler feelings come up and you're so mad or you're so sad and you just, really need a day or a week or a month to go be with those, and there's not the ability to do that, there is the ability to take part of the attention and place it on the part of us inside that's feeling that, and incorporating that feeling and just being there for that feeling, and asking ourselves, what do I need in this moment, and what can I do to give myself that? And I'm not talking about, I need a cigarette or a drink or something like that. It's like, what do I need to soothe this part of me? What do I need that would be supportive for me, and actually just feeling what I'm feeling right now and allowing that to be there as long as it needs to be there, so that that feeling can be accepted, acknowledged, and then incorporate it, or let it dissipate. And sometimes those things might be, I'm going to walk over to the kitchen and make a cup of tea while I'm talking to my daughter. So the tea is soothing. I'm maybe talking to her about what's going on, and I would never do that in an unhealthy way. But I think it's very healthy modeling and amazing for our kids to see us saying, you know what, mommy's feeling really tired right now. I'm feeling a little frustrated and grouchy. It feels sharp in my body. I think I'll do some breathing. And then we can actually just talk ourselves through that, and they can, depending on their stage of development, is going to depend, how you present it is going to obviously depend on, their stage of development. But you can actually be with yourself in that moment while being with your child, and model for them, not, some out there thing that you think you should be doing, but you're not, but just modeling, acknowledging the feeling. When we name the feeling, research shows that our whole nervous system calms down just by naming the feeling. So we want to be teaching our kids that, and we can be doing that for us. That's just not for kids, as adults, if we're naming the feeling, our nervous system is also calming down. So just by going through it verbally with ourselves and being with ourselves, having attention on that and really talking through, Mom is feeling so sad right now. I feel like I have a big squishy yellow sponge in my chest, and I'm just going to give that love. Will you help Mama give that love? Let's send it love. Let's say, you can stay there as long as you want to, sponge. We just love you. And just showing your inner toddler, and maybe if you also have an actual toddler with you, you can do that too. And really, it's the same process, and it's just the added benefit of being able to model that for your child if you have an actual child. But that inner toddler is what I've really been kind of pondering on the past couple of days, and how we may grow up, but we still have these big feelings that if we're not really with them and allowing them and accepting them, they're not separate from us. They are part of us, and if we deny them, we're denying part of us. And if we accept, then we're accepting. We're always in that process of continual acceptance of what comes up and being with what comes up. That is when we heal, and when we become the truth of who we are, when we become whole. So I hope that's an encouraging message for you and your inner toddler today, and just sending you peace. Thanks for watching.